Well, hello, top shot producer type people. My name is Dale Martin. I am 41 years old. I live in Placerville, California, on 14 acres in the Sierra Nevada mountains. I have 5 children, 3 of which are mine, 2 of which are my girlfriend's, but she also lives with me here. Um, I my I work as a grocery clerk. I've been working for Safeway for the last 25 years. 7 of those years I was an assistant manager for Safeway. I stepped down about 5 years ago. It was taking up too much of my time. I didn't get to see my kids enough, and I had no time to play for any hobbies, things that I like to do. About 4 years ago, a good friend of mine introduced me to USPSA action pistol type shooting. Um, I became involved with that then. It's a very exciting sport, and today I compete as often as I possibly can. My background in shooting started when my first recollection of shooting was, I think, when I was about 5 or 6 years old, when I can remember my father holding he had a 410 shotgun. I remember him holding that up and putting it up to my shoulder and letting me pull the trigger on that. But I grew up on a 5-acre farm in Sacramento County, and it was surrounded by about 150 to 200 acres of just field, very little homes in the area. On that farm, we raised pigs and chickens and rabbits, and we even raised quail, and introduced quail into the area. And now, to this day, there's quail everywhere in the area, which is a pretty cool thing. We grew all sorts of vegetables, a huge vegetable garden. Probably 3 acres of the property was just vegetables. Anyways, I got my shooting experience there with my father. We would go out in the backyard as a kid, just set up some lawn chairs in the back, and take our shotguns, and we would hunt dove in the backyard. They would fly right along the fence line, and we would shoot them and cook them up. Also, there's a lot of pheasant out there, so on a regular basis during season, we would go out and take some pheasant. A lot of geese flew over. My father was very liberal with firearms. He had a lot of experience with firearms. He grew up in Oklahoma. He had 13 brothers and sisters, and him and a couple of his brothers, they would go out and hunt for dinner. I remember him telling me several occasions where his father would give him 3 or 4 bullets, and they'd be expected to come back with 3 or 4 pieces of meat. So I learned from him. He taught me safety. He taught me how to use the firearms, how to respect them, and that's basically where it started. I grew up hunting on the family farm. I had my first rifle when I was 9 years old. I had that in my room, and today I would never, I couldn't think of letting any of my children have a firearm in their room. But that was then, and this is now. So that's kind of where I started with it. We set up berms in the back, and big sand piles and hay bales, and we would shoot into those, or we would hunt for dinner sometimes. A lot of times there would be rats out in the barn, so at night we'd take a flashlight and a shotgun and go out there and get rid of some rats, because they would eat the chicken eggs and so forth. Blue jays would also get the chicken eggs, so we would take care of that problem. Skunks cause problems. So that's kind of where I learned to shoot. That is where I learned to shoot. And from then I've always had a fondness for firearms, and always shot. But until about 4 years ago, when my best friend introduced me to USPSA shooting, I thought I could shoot, but I didn't realize how much I had to learn until I went out and saw some of these guys. So for the last 4 years, I've been working on that. I've been training really hard. I've been shooting a lot of competitions when I can. I usually have to work weekends and request the days off from the boss, and sometimes the boss lets me have it off, and sometimes he doesn't. So when I get them off, I take that opportunity and take advantage of that and go to matches. Let me see here. Let's see. Tell us about your interests and passions in life. Well, my interests and passions, primarily, first of all, is my family. They are number one. They come first. They come before anything else. And as long as I'm taking care of them, providing a roof and food, and making sure they have everything they need, then I get to play my game, which is shooting. But they're first and shooting second. Describe myself, and how would your friends describe you? Describe myself, for me, is not a very easy thing, I don't think. Maybe it would, how my friends would describe me would probably be how I would describe myself. I would think that they would believe that I'm very trustworthy, very honest, and they know that when I tell them something, it is the truth, and they know that I would be there to help them for anything they would need. I guess, that they would call me a man. Not a male, but a man, because I take care of my responsibilities. I take care of my friends and my family, and I do anything for them. How competitive am I? I would say I'm very competitive. I train very hard for especially the bigger matches that come up. I spend about a month prior to the match going through weight training. I work out pretty much every day. Unless I'm sick or I'm not home. I train with weights, I run, I stretch, I do lots of different things. Once I'm done with that weight training, I go directly to dry fire practice, draws from the holster with my weapon. And then from there, I train airsoft. Airsoft, for me, has been very beneficial, and it is a lot more fun than dry fire, and I cannot make it out to the range that often, having the 5 children, and my nearest range that I go to is about 40 minutes away, and just the cost alone of ammunition, I do reload, but the cost of even reloading ammunition is very expensive, so I spend a lot of my time right here in this workshop training. A friend of mine, my best friend, I grew up with him, and I came across some airsoft guns about 3 years ago that were very similar to what we shoot in competition. This right here is an airsoft gun. This is a Glock airsoft gun, and this is one of the tools I use to better my skills in competition. It uses green gas and shoots little tiny plastic BBs. And it's a very effective training tool. We discovered this about 3 years ago, and we wanted to see if there are any targets on the market. We did an internet search and couldn't find anything, so we decided to make our own targets. And my cousin is actually a metal fabricator, so I got with him. We came up with some designs, scaled down USPSA targets. To a smaller base, so that's something that you could shoot in your garage. The average person can shoot inside their garage, and replicate what you'd see on a USPSA course of fire. And it has been incredibly beneficial to us, me and my partner, and a lot of the people that have purchased our products. You can get yourself an airsoft gun, a bunch of targets, $15 for 5,000 rounds BBs, and use a propane canister to power it, and you can run through 200 or 300 rounds every single night inside your garage in about 20 minutes. So that's what I do. The business has been very good to us. A lot of law enforcement, military, USPSA shooters are using our targets to train, and we've had nothing but positive results from it. And behind me, you'll see some of the targets that we have produced, and you'll see that they are very similar. The metal targets are ours, the cardboard ones we purchased, but metal targets are very similar to what you'll see in a course of fire, and this is what I do to train whenever I can. I just finished a big match, the Golden Bullet, the state sectional championship in Ione here, and I did very well. I was unclassified. I was shooting a limited gun, and I ended up winning the section and division championship that weekend. I think there was about 170 shooters approximately, and I ended up beating out 3 grandmasters and 3 master shooters at that match, and that was very good for me. That was very good for me. Anyway, so I attribute it 100% to the training that I do with airsoft, and I will demonstrate to you kind of what I do in training. It's pretty simple. Safety glasses. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see all this because I'm going to have my back to you, but this is what I do. Anyways, that's kind of how the airsoft works. You can see it's very similar, and I spend quite a bit of my time training this way. There's also they make AR-15s and AR-15 style airsoft that are very similar to what you see. Or actually, this is almost identical to my JP AR-15 that I have that I use for 3-gun matches. I haven't attended a lot of them, but this is what I use, and this is kind of how it works. Flip it. So that's it. This is how I train. This is who I am. I would like to be on the show. I am an extremely competitive person, and if you select me, I'm going to be there to win. I am going to be there to win. Thanks. Have a good day.